Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Phillip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is Ceti Alpha 3.
Welcome to Ceti Alpha 3, the Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party. I'm your host, Phillip Gilfus, joined on this auspicious occasion by my usual co-host in Trek crime, Darren Moser and Daniel Prue. Gentlemen, how are you doing on this three-digit occasion?
I didn't know Trek was illegal, but, the way things are going with Discovery rumors, I wouldn't be surprised. But
when Trek's illegal, only criminals will Trek. No, that doesn't make sense.
Look, I just want to boldly go. That's all I want to do.
Well, go boldly. All right.
Anyway. To jail.
Don't you know a breakout when you see one?
We're not referencing that movie. We agreed.
Look, I'm sorry it's fresh in my mind. Someone made me watch it.
So I did something Trekky, but I'm gonna play pass in case you all don't have anything. Daniel, how goes your Trek life?
Yeah, I think the movie last week was enough for me. I kind of...
You're like, Star Trek 5, I'm done. Ow! Ow!
I took a break. I did, though, I kind of made a decision here that now that I have CBS All Access, I'm going to rewatch Season 1 before Season 2 comes out for Discovery. So, because I kind of already forgot a bunch of stuff. And because of, the serialized nature, I the individual episodes are lost on me at this point.
It kind of blurs together. I mean, there's the one where they're in Klingon jail. There's the one, where it's
Choose your pain.
Where
Saru Planet was one.
Saru Planet. There's
Saru Planet was sort of a standalone in a way.
There's
episode.
Harry Mudd episode. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean, Daniel. It's like if you could, except for Battle of the Binary Stars. If you said, hey, name episode 4 of season 1 of Discovery and what was it about, I'd be like,
Lorca.
I want to push that towards, closer towards season 2. So I'm thinking maybe end of November start it and get it done in time for January. But I've resolved to do it.
I know I've heard January before, Daniel.
I've heard rewatches before, Daniel.
I'm just saying. I'm talking about season 2. We've heard January thrown around for a while. So I until it airs, I'm holding my breath. I'm just saying.
You remember how skeptical we were about Discovery before it even came out? We were like, I don't know. There's not a lot of information, and it did come out.
You act like my skepticism has gone away, Daniel.
That's true. That's fair.
What about you, Darren? Any trekkiness going on for you?
Well, I did my standard washing the bad taste out of my mouth and watch Star Trek 6 because it's just such a better movie. But no, that was fun because I always enjoy Star Trek 6. It's
that was
great.
Meyer again, right?
Except
Meyer
for that
directing.
one scene.
Yeah, well, I mean. It's they all have their moments, but overall, no. It's.
Oh, you mean the Kim Cattrall?
But it's a lot of fun.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
You have a lot of great lines. I mean, you have, Gorkin, which is also.
David Warner.
Yeah, David Warner.
He's like,
back to back.
I'm sorry. Could I be in a good Star Trek?
He's like, you know what? He's like, that performance was crap. If you promise, if you let me come back, I'll do anything.
We did not call no take-backies.
Yeah. And you get, all the Shakespeare, Klingons, and it's just great. I love it. And then you sail off into the sunset, second star to the right. I mean, there you go.
What kind of series in Star Trek would end with them sailing off into the star set?
Only after a holographic representation of something, but then it's okay.
I was thinking more TNG. That's how it ended.
That's true. That's true.
Well, not that it was a wholly Star Trek, but I did go to my local, by local I mean my hometown, so not local to where I live, but my local Comic-Con, Fayetteville Comic-Con. I think they're in their 3rd year, and so that was kind of cool. I did see someone in their TNG uniform, and then I did buy I know our listeners can't see it, I did buy my Kess figure. They did actually, they did sort of, when I'm doing Comic Cons, I know to just go towards plastic bins. It's always like either it's full of like Turtles figures or whatever, and they're
random GI Joes.
Exactly. And this one was in the box, but like usually they're unboxed, which is fine. I mean, truth be told, I don't need really accessories. But anyway, they did have actually a decent amount, not a lot, but a decent amount at random booths of sort of Playmates. Just you just had to go through like, here's 5 Ambassador Spocks or something. So it was sort of like your local toy store after in the late 90s. They're like, oh, all they have is the
look, it's Neelix with his frying pan again. Yeah.
Well, the one this is a random figure, and I don't even know why I would want to get it, but it kind of intrigued me because obviously I like action figures that look like the character. Though I do tend to like ones I actually like. And this one I was almost bought, but I'm like, why would I want to buy this? But it's because it just looked cool. It was Ilea, Star Trek the Motion Picture. I'm like, I don't know why I would want an Ilea figure, but like, it was really good. It was decently done. It was a good play, because you don't always get good ones. So I was like,
right.
I don't know. I was almost tempted, but I didn't.
Especially in that era.
Well, and speaking of Trek, I'm pretty sure this last week, friend of the show, Lee Hutchinson, got to see What We Left Behind, and I am jealous because I really want to see that documentary on the making of Deep Space Nine.
Sure, and I mean the same weekend, of course, much bigger, was Destination Star Trek, or Star Trek Destination, which was over in the UK. So that was obviously enjoyed seeing a lot of the pictures and all that from Twitter and Facebook and all that, all the good cosplays. I think one of the more interesting ones was someone did I can't remember the Voyager episode, the holographic World War II one, the Killing Game. Someone had the Killing Game. Someone was what are they called? The Hirogen?
Hirogen.
One was one was a Hirogen, so he was like big guy. Then you had someone as the Neelix World War II person, and then
with
someone
like the bread, like the on the bicycle.
They didn't have the
with
bread, but that's and then someone else I think was B'Elanna. Was the B'Elanna World War II figure.
Wait, wasn't B'Elanna pregnant?
Pregnant? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know, but I will say I'm super excited for that documentary, Darren. Like, that looks fantastic. And we get to see some HD Deep Space Nine footage, for 30 seconds, unfortunately.
Yeah. I heard it's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't know that they'll ever... maybe the technology will advance such in 10 years' time that they can just do this stuff cheaply. But certainly doesn't exist.
Deep thinking AI can rasterize out the pixels in some way that upconverts it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe then we'll get some HD, footage of Voyager and Deep Space Nine. But until then, this will have to just whet our appetites, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, I'm not the biggest DS9 fan, but it definitely will be interesting. Like, what's y'all know? Because you're probably more in it than I am. What's sort of the plan? Like, is it going to come out as just like a DVD or a download? Like, what's the?
I don't know. I mean,
the
they just released it. I'm assuming it will probably come to direct, on Blu-ray or whatever. But I don't know what their distribution plan is. I'm sure they have one, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, wasn't it Kickstarted too?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming it's going to go to all those people first, and that sort of stuff. But.
Yeah, probably one of those like digital download options.
Hey, we got like all the captains and stuff on Netflix. Why not? Why not this?
Oh, what was that? Or what was
the Enterprise one?
The TNG one.
Oh, something on the
from
bridge.
The bridge or something. Anyway,
yeah,
Chaos on the bridge.
Chaos on the bridge. Yeah. And oh man, that was something special. But
it was good though. I enjoyed it.
It was good. Yeah, we had some more quotable lines than Star Trek V. So.
Oh,
it was Wacky Doodle. There it is. That's what I was trying to remember.
It was Wacky Doodle.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let's get into today's topic, and for that, of course, I have with me my Chateau Picard that I've poured out today, because, of course, you're never supposed to drink it alone, because this is, of course, is our 100th episode here on Ceti Alpha 3. Yes, that's right, listeners. For 100 episodes, you failed to rescue us. So...
Look, the rations are getting low, guys. I don't know.
I used all our replicator energy on this wine.
Well, that's I guess,
hashtag worth it.
But I know it's the second time we've celebrated 100 episodes, and it's just as sweet.
Yeah, and I host them every time, though. And that's quirk of math, I think, more than anything else. That's a 1 in 3 chance every time.
In fact, we may be closer to 300 all told, based on our
254 combined.
plot. Was that including all of the guest stuff that we've done on different?
Well, there's no way to count that. I mean, there is, but it's
there's no way all this information is on the
Numbers.
internet somewhere.
So add 5-6 more.
No way.
Around.
No way. It would be
like together though. I mean,
I would
talk
bet
about times like we were on To the Journey and such.
Yeah. I would bet we're north of
standard orbit,
north of 275.
And so the exact, I just had it on my window browser, but now I've forgotten it. Maybe you know, Darren. So the exact date when we first officially podcast. Now this is a podcast release, not when we actually literally sat down. I don't know that date. But it was September 2013.
Bird of Prey Selfies was September 10th, 2013 on the Ready Room.
Yeah, Trek FM.
Phillip, Gilfist, Daniel Prue, and Christopher Jones find out why Picard envies Riker, how to roll up Klingon stereotypes and diversity into one episode, and why being lactose intolerant may not be a good condition to have while serving in the KDF.
Yes, I did enjoy it. I just listened to the beginning, or the some of it, or the beginning of the feature part with the three of us, and I do like how we don't even get to the topic for like 15 minutes, because that's what we do.
That's just how it goes, yeah.
So, speaking of which, so, this is something to be a little more understated for this 100th episode, and so what I have here, and I'm not going to get through all of them, obviously, I have 36 questions.
Wow.
For you all.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, we're not going to get through them. There's no way. So think of them sort of maybe, rejected topic ideas or something. Or so, so instead of doing an entire episode, we're just going to do like, a minute.
Could you call them short treks, maybe?
Well, depends how this could turn into one of those Darren episodes. It's
thanks for joining us, listeners. Here's the rejects at our 100th episode.
That's right. Which was my favorite band during the 90s. I wore their T-shirt during geometry. So, this is going to start off with an easy one. Or I say easy one. It's sort of maybe an obvious one. But, Darren, I'm just going to go to you for this one. Why podcast about Star Trek?
Well, one of the great things about podcasting...
I mean, I was going to say, if you wanted to go to sort of your origin of a podcast, the Dr.
Yeah,
Sci-Fi.
no, I was going to say, one of the great things about podcasting is... It's very topical. Usually there's only like a main focus topic for a podcast, and and distance isn't an issue because we're podcasting from opposite sides of the country. We've only met once in person in real life, and so those things combined, I know it's terrible. Those things combined, having people you can talk to anywhere about a really specific topic and just full-on nerding out about it. And those I think, are the best podcasts. I mean, I listen to my friends who have, like, Power Rangers podcasts or Doctor Who podcasts or Babylon 5 podcasts or even just podcasts about making or building or podcasts about other podcasts. And it's so fun getting to talk about that. And the barrier to entry is super low. Like, just start talking and just hit record. That's all you got to do. And then 100 episodes later, you're, drinking wine. That's it.
And you're filthy, filthy rich. Yes, I love that sweet podcast.
Something.
Look, I made these coconut cups for the last 3 weeks, okay? At least you could do is drink out of them, Daniel.
Well, and I'm curious, Darren, because, certainly anyone who's ever listened to this or anything you've ever been on knows you're a big Star Wars fan. And so why not a Star Wars podcast? Or is it just lack of time and opportunity? Or, why do a Star Trek one? And obviously, you've done one with your little girl, of course. I mean, you've done other podcasts, but why not? Why Star Trek exclusively for the most part?
Right. I think I don't know. I think part of it is, like I said, having a topic. But Star Wars in general is actually a giant topic. Like I've seen it done well, but I would need something more focused in order to talking about to just like a subset of Star Wars. I don't know. And there's also just a lot more of them. Like there's definitely other Star Trek podcasts, but not nearly in the same count I think as Star Wars. And when we started, now we do Ceti Alpha, which is a general Trek podcast, but before with Earl Grey, it was like one show within Star Trek, and we even found ways to talk about 150 something different topics on just that one show. So I don't know. It also might just be, it's also just content wise. I mean, yeah, it's movies versus television. I mean, you have hundreds of hours of content and characters versus 3 movies. I mean, not saying that Star Wars is less. It's just I don't know where I would start on a Star Wars podcast.
Mm-hmm. And then what about you, Daniel? I mean, you've been doing this we've been doing this so many years together. I mean, do you still have stuff to talk about with Star Trek? I mean, why keep the podcast going? This is a cancellation today. No, but seriously, how do you?
And that was Daniel's last day.
Exactly.
Well, what Darren was saying is exactly how I feel. It's kind of this perfect storm of finding a small niche thing that you feel really. I say niche, like Star Trek's niche. It's not, but
well, it is. It is.
Back at the time when I started getting into it, it's so funny because like me starting listening to podcasts and Star Trek, it was actually Star Trek podcasts that reignited my fandom. Like was pretty dormant for a long, long time. I'd watched it as a kid and I really enjoyed it and stuff. It was kind of a combination of 2009, which I absolutely adore, and podcasts. I think 2009 inspired me to look up Star Trek podcasts, which inspired me to look up more Star Trek podcasts, which I started listening to. And then I'm like, you know what? Hey, I want to do this. And that's why I did it. It was just this kind of, I was at that point in my life that I was feeling really passionate about it and really excited about it. And that was the first time I'd watched a lot of Star Trek. That was my first complete walkthrough of playthrough of all the series. I hadn't seen all of Voyager. I certainly hadn't seen all of Enterprise up to that point. So it was just a really good time in my life. And then I started gobbling up Star Trek podcasts. I listened to everything that was available at the time. And then it was just that summer, I think, the summer of 2012, that I was like, hey, you know what? I have enough. I've seen enough now. I get to have my own opinion and I have things to say. And that's what drew me to it for sure.
Yeah, and also kind of around that time was you had it got onto streaming and Blu-ray, and you had the Blu-rays coming out, and you had the streaming of all of Star Trek on CBS or on Netflix, and it just made it so much easier to binge watch, to pop in an episode or go back to something. I mean, before that, you had it on DVD, but a cube of those cost you a car payment or something.
It's true. They were so expensive.
Yeah.
No, what about you, Daniel? Because you obviously have other interests. You've done, some Xbox podcasting. Are there other podcasts you'd be interested in doing, or what is it about the Star Trek that keeps, the exclusive podcast for the most part in your podcasting life?
Yeah, I guess just to reiterate what I was talking about before, it's you have to find that one or two things that you really feel super passionate about, and that you're not oversaturated with all the time. Like when you're asking Darren that question about the Star Wars podcast, I imagine that's kind of a tough nut to crack, especially now. Podcasts are so prevalent. In 2012 and 2011, it may have been a little bit of a different story, but even then, it's going to be tough to get in there. Star Trek is still, it's massive. It's huge. Of course it is. But it still feels like we met so many people at Vegas, at Star Trek Vegas, just because the whole community feels really tight-knit and very close. So it's one of those things where you feel part of a group. Like, maybe you don't have that sense of it, something like Star Wars where it's just too big and there's just so much, but like you feel part of this one, kind of great group, small group, even though it's not small, obviously, in Star Trek. And that's why I think I keep coming back to it. It's awesome to see all these different people do these different things with this one property that you love so much.
Sure. Now moving on, Daniel, I'm going to start this one with you because you sort of brought it up. How would you say, and maybe you say, the answer could be just it hasn't, but how would you say that JJ/Kelvin, because I don't like to use that, but anyway, how would you say that JJ or Kelvin universe, the films, how has it changed or affected the Star Trek franchise from, however many years, like 2009, obviously, how has that changed, or did it change the Star Trek franchise?
Yeah, I think it certainly did, and I think it injected some. I mean, I think Star Trek was on life support at that point. There was nothing. It was the empty vacuum years between Enterprise and, I guess, itself, Enterprise and JJ stuff, I think it definitely injected a lot of excitement for, especially that first movie. Me as someone who was a pretty big fan in my youth, and it re-injected my fandom. I think there was a great surge in Star Trek because of JJ, and you know, even if it's not your favorite thing and if it's not your bag, I think you can be grateful and appreciative of that fact, because you know from 09 to Into Darkness and to Beyond, haha, that's fun to say. Yeah,
the jokes write themselves, guys.
That kept us going. We wouldn't have Discovery Now. We wouldn't have this exciting new Picard show or all this other new stuff that they're promising to do. They wouldn't exist without JJ. You know, I mean, eventually they'd reboot Star Trek, of course they would, but I do think that it's definitely responsible for giving Star Trek a kick when it needed it the most. You know, literally when it was at its most vulnerable since the cancellation of the original series. So I think we can all be grateful for that.
And then Darren, I mean, for your framing, and you can do whatever you want, of course. But again, not to go back to it a lot, but Star Wars. You know, Star Wars has had, and I'm talking about very recent, as in like past month. You know, ups and downs, or you know, and that's subjective, I know. But you know, and how that franchise is evolving. But you know, with 2009, we're going to reboot the franchise or reset or whatever word you want to use in movie form. And obviously, there was great consternation and gnashing of teeth and all that stuff. But looking back now and using sort of your own experience in the other fandoms, how has J.J. Kelvin changed the game in Star Trek?
Yeah, I think it was very important. I mean, if you remove those movies, you have Enterprise ending in 2005, and you have Discovery starting in 2017. That's a huge gap.
The wilderness years.
Yeah, and but I think besides filling the gap, I feel that 2009 was good because it was a accessible starting point that was very popular as also just a fun movie. And it didn't need to be, you know, the epitome of Star Trek on screen, Star Trek the motion picture. You know, that would not have worked in 2009. And so I know lots of people who, after seeing that movie, kind of similar to Daniel, like got back into Star Trek, or it opened the door, and they're like, oh, there's, you know, 5 seasons of this stuff, like and like I said, it was there, it was on streaming, and it was accessible, and it was easily to get to. And so I'm sure there's tons of Star Trek fans that their first foray into that was Star Trek 09, and then they just dived right in and get to know all these great characters. So it was kind of this lightning rod to start again. But like you said with Star Wars, I mean, Star Wars is kind of does the same thing, because every generation it kind of has to not restart, but basically have a new set of movies, because otherwise you can't have a franchise last into the 50-year club, you know, without continual content. And you know, Star Wars, you have the 70s, and then you have the 90s, and then you had, you know, let's see, it was like 15. Yeah, you know, the teens, but you need to kind of stir the pot every once in a while. Otherwise, you know, it's gonna fade away. And you know, fortunately with Star Trek, we've had things to keep it going. We had comics, you know, we've had video games, we've had, you know, other things going on to keep us through. And maybe it only feels like such a void in the, you know, early 2000s, because we had just come off of the freight train that was 90s Trek. I mean, live 90s Trek with multiple overlaps from 87 through 05. Like, that's incredible.
Well, you could even go further back than that. I mean, you could go to... Oh, yeah, I guess it was 1980,
the movies,
right? That was
in some ways.
Yeah.
But, of course, important to note that Enterprise was canceled and voluntarily ended.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
You know, we sort of ended on a note. And, you know, and feelings about Enterprise aside, you know, that was sort of like, it wasn't like, oh, Enterprise did 7 years, and then we just didn't have anything. It was like, no, Star Trek died. then we're sort of left going like, what do we do now? So.
But I imagine you kind of get the same sense, Philip, with Doctor Who, right? I mean, even a series that has literally a built-in reset button still struggle. Like Darren was just mentioning, older franchises, they struggle with reinventing themselves. And then, of course, you have the big break in Doctor Who when New Who.
The movie, which I'm sure the movie wasn't meant to kill it, but it kind of did.
Yeah, it was sort of if 09 had not done well, that would have sort of been like I guess we're done, and so that was sort of
or put it on the shelf for another decade and then try again.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone who gets upset about reboots and it's like it's just more content. It doesn't destroy and atomize the past. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, and I don't have any major problem with the Kelvin universe. But I think at least with Star Trek, and I'll talk Star Trek. If I didn't like something enough, I would just say I don't count it. I mean, personally, I'm not telling anyone else what to do. So it's like I can enjoy all of Star Trek and just say like, Kelvin's not for me, or Discovery's not for me, and whatever.
Like personally, I'll watch 09 and beyond, but I won't really watch.
Well, I don't feel like yelling at the TV.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm just like, I don't really. Just like I don't really watch Star Trek 5 normally.
Tells me we know a future installment for Daniel.
Oh no, Daniel, stop! No.
I don't know if I can even. I've only watched it once, and I'm still upset.
Are you kidding me?
So
I've seen it way too many times. I've only seen Beyond it once because I'm afraid, but to watch again. I really should watch Beyond again. But yeah, cool.
Beyond's,
well, we've gone into some sort of philosophical opinion, so let's do something a little bit more shallow, and it's just be sort of one of these fan questions. The category is Deep Space Nine. Darren, what role, and think season 1, season 2, we're not in the middle of the Dominion War or anything, but what role do you think
I don't want to die, Phillip.
Yeah, what role do you think you would play on Deep Space Nine?
Let's see. So, like, if you were kind of like a reoccurring kind of,
well, I mean, like in world. It doesn't matter what. I'm not talking about a TV series. By role, I don't mean like guest role. I mean like literally, you're on Deep Space Nine. What would you be doing?
Let's see. What would I be doing?
Would you be an entrepreneur or a wanderer?
Just say I could be, someone who's just working there, stationed there.
Would your children be taught by Keiko?
I think I'd homeschool. But yeah, it's like bring the family out, and it's all like, it's a great opportunity. Oh, the schools are, no. Okay,
school district. You're shopping for quarters. You're like, what school district? Oh, there's only one.
Oh, okay, we're in D-Ring.
Look, you're not in my district, so I just read you the district lines around.
So you claim
quarters.
Another quarters, and I know how this stuff works.
No, I think it'd be, I don't know, maybe I'd
or
be... Or
would you be Chief O'Brien and your wife?
I'd be like a runabout pilot or something. Someone's got to fly those runabouts, but it's not on the A-team, that can have, trips to Bajor, got to ferry people and important things.
I do like how you sort of get your Star Wars element. You just be like...
Every time they launched, they looked really, really cool.
So like the in focus, like miniature model. Like anyway, but cool. And then Daniel, I'm not going to ask you the same question, but a related question. If you were on Deep Space Nine, you can kind of tell me what you would be. But what character from the main or secondary DS9 cast do you think you would befriend if you were on Deep Space Nine? Who would you be drinking Ractaginos over with?
Is it the Wati ambassador? It's the Wati ambassador, isn't it?
Oh, God, no.
Or would we be like, where's Daniel? Oh, you mean Mr. Hollowsweet?
I was actually going to say that I'd probably be Dr. Bashir, is who I would befriend. He's useful.
So you'd have lunches with him and make Garrick jealous? Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, he could join us.
Or you'd be like, that Jadzia.
He could join us, and we would. Oh, I would join that club. He could join us, and we would play Two Truths and a Lie, and then we'd try to determine who was.
Oh, that would be really funny. Is exposing Garrick to that show. I want to see his reaction to watching those old like Two Truths and a Lie or What's My Line. Oh, that would be hilarious.
Real,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't
clearly,
get it.
They're all lying. None of them are him.
Yeah, they're such terrible liars, these two. Obviously, it's the first one. I knew that 5 minutes ago.
Daniel, this one's for you. Again, this is just another fun fan question. So imagine you're a student at Starfleet Academy in the mid to late 23rd century. Which TOS era movie character would you think would be a good professor?
Oh, I thought you were going to say roommate.
Well, I would say
No, you're a student. There are professors. You know, who do you think would be
Now, this
favorite
is ignoring
teacher?
canon, kind of.
Okay. What Star Trek does. Go ahead.
I would say that a very good Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher would probably be Khan.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
But if I'm saying if I'm sticking in universe here, man, oh God, who would I even want?
Because, like, I know you like Spock, but do you really think he'd be a good teacher?
I think Spock would be a great teacher. Yeah.
You wouldn't be like
Maybe it depends on the subject.
calling you out again. You know.
I mean, Spock would teach science. What else would he teach?
He could teach command. At this point, he's Captain Spock.
Music.
He could teach diplomacy. He could teach, interstellar relations.
But what would he? What would he teach? What would he want to teach?
Rocket Boots 101.
He would teach science.
Are you saying he's the Quidditch teacher? Because that's what I'm hearing.
Accio Rocket Boots.
And you wake up and there's this package and you open it up and it's the Rocket Boots 2000.
You have rich parents. They've got a better replicator than me, man. What the heck? If we're talking original, like actual original series characters, yeah, I definitely. I mean, I would always pick Spock. Spock is number one in my heart, no matter what. But yeah, Spock, of course. And he would teach science. He wouldn't. He's definitely qualified to teach other things. It doesn't matter.
I like that. It would just be science class.
Yeah, just science.
What are you taking? What are you taking this year? Science.
Science division. Oh. It's the entire science division.
He could be the head of the science division. Yes, he could be Spock Nye, the science guy.
Well,
it's a different color than them. So, yeah. What about you, Darren? Who would be your favorite prof at Starfleet Academy?
That's all the kids are calling him.
I don't know. Right. I would want to go with, like, I think it'd be fun to take a class with, like, Admiral Cartwright or something. Someone who's just going to, like, sink into history.
Right.
Rewritten history so the Klingons are evil. That's what I'm saying. But,
I was about to say, like, you really like racist professors?
I was just going to ask if he knows what happens to Professor Cartwright.
Well, we know he's the head of Slytherin. But anyway.
I do know what happens to Cartwright. But I'm just saying.
I can say that.
He has a lot of personality.
Yes. Yeah, he was, I mean, he's definitely, he had many good things and many bad things, and obviously the bad things outweighed the good things.
Like, and then, he's like, I want to help you with your grade. Get him back! I want to help you get him back!
At least you'll never run out of good food.
Like, man, I hope classes are canceled that day. The day that the whale probe shows up. And it's like a massive planet-wide storm. Nope, sorry, you got to still go to third period.
No, that's the thing. That's the day he shows up 13 minutes late to class, and everybody knows if you're 15 minutes late to class, you get to leave. But, stupid professor.
All right, one more fun question before I go into something that's a little harder here. So, Daniel, what piece of Star Trek technology, so anything really, would you willingly read the technical manual of?
All of it? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, because a lot of it can be dry, but I'm like, what was something that you find so fascinating that you'd be like, nah, I'll read it. I want to know how this thing works.
I would think that the first thing that pops out to me is either the transporter or the replicator. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, especially if it was like
basically the same thing. But
they kind of are. They definitely
it's
exist.
Like a vacuum.
Yeah, they exist on the same sort of the same technological spectrum. They're very, very, very close to each other. But I'm thinking more of like I'm Biff in Back to the Future 2, and I get one of these technical manuals way before I'm supposed to. Or is it the first one? I can't remember. So, yeah, I would love to read the technical specs on like a replicator and learn how to do these sort of things, and then I can...
You butthead, you got to put this technical manual in a safe. Get a safe.
I like it.
Now, Phillip, I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
So if you could have, money's not an issue. It's just if you ask for it, you would have it. No.
Triple-sized horse.
If you could have any piece of Star Trek memorabilia,
that's actually one of my questions. It's fine.
So basically, if you wanted the plaque from the Enterprise, or you wanted the captain's chair, or anything, you asked for it. It was plucked from time and given to you. What would you choose?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I know there's an easy question. It's an answer we all have said previously, so I don't want to say it.
The entire Enterprise D bridge? No,
the one we've all said previously is the Enterprise D painting in Picard's Ready Room. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to say that.
That's a good one.
Exactly. So I'm not going to say it. I would say this. Either one. I'm Paramount. You have options. Either, but it's the same thing. It's just a variation of the thing. Either the Enterprise E or D ships in the observation lounge. So I'll take not the season 1 ones,
right?
The little ships.
Yeah. So either the ones from TNG or from First Contact. I'll take either set.
I've actually thought of making like foam versions of the gold ones from the from TNG, but they're big. They're like really big.
Well, I've seen the photos of what Doug Drex, or whoever has saved them, and they're like as big as a person, pretty much.
Yeah. So maybe if I can convince my wife for some space.
One thing I have bought recently. Well, it's my own money. I can do whatever I want. But I'm still being quiet in case my wife hears. But anyway, one thing I did buy recently on Amazon, and so because when we were at the Comic-Con, I'm always have one eye open for the toy ships, for lack of a better word. Because I know I'm looking right now. No one can see.
I remember you looking at the toy ships at Star Trek Las Vegas.
Exactly. Because right now I have mostly everything that I want. Mostly everything I want. By that I mean I have a Voyager, I have Deep Space Nine, I have the original, NC 1701. It's a little beat up, but it's still there. And X01. Skip ahead. I have a B. It's a little, it's not the nice Diamond Select one, but it's a B. And so what more do you want? I have the D, which is the nice one, and the E from Diamond Select, which is sort of the okay one. So what am I missing? I'm missing the A. Oh boy! So
I thought you were going to say C.
Well, they haven't made one yet. They are supposed to make one next year, and I am excited. I'm sure it'll be expensive, but I am excited. They're supposed to make one next year. So A, I saw one for $65, and I was really tempted because that's pretty cheap. If you go on Amazon, it's like $100. So
Dan, you're going to tell him he could just give him an A decal and he can easily turn that.
Yeah. Have the
I don't see the refit.
I know an easy way to make an A.
Yeah. But I did see one on Amazon. It was in that neighborhood, so I ended up buying it. So that'll be coming in the mail soon. So yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, you have to let us know how it is.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be the Star Trek.
If he lives that long.
Yeah. Well, I have space in the shelf. I mean, I've of course.
Hey, you don't have to justify to us.
She won't even notice. It doesn't matter.
So I know she's only in Voyager.
So this is going to be sort of a whatever jumps to mind. Don't force it. So basically, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to give you a series. You just name an episode that pops up into mind. It does, whatever reasons are your own. So, Darren, Enterprise.
Yes.
What episode comes to mind?
Is it Sim 1?
Simultitude.
Simultitude.
And why does that sort of incorporate Enterprise for you, at least in this 10 seconds?
It's one of those highlighted episodes that's, touted a lot, and you get Trip dying in a good way.
Yeah. You sort of get the whole, he's dead in the beginning, and you're like, that can't be right. I mean, who would kill Trip in an episode?
At least wait till the end of the season, for goodness sake.
Okay, Daniel. All right, so clear your mind, Daniel. What episode comes to mind when I say Voyager?
I knew you were going to say Voyager. Oh, my goodness. The 90s episode.
Okay. Future's End?
Future's End.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You could have just worn this clothes.
Be specific. No, anyway.
You wouldn't matter.
Go by that one.
Mm-hmm. I think it's one of the original Voyager episodes I ever watched, actually in the 90s. Mm-hmm. And it's such a great representation of the 90s, which is a period of time that I absolutely love.
Sarah Silverman.
The clothing and all of it. I think, generally Star Trek can go over the top campy. That episode is just the right amount of campy. It's exactly the right amount of camp you want in your Star Trek episode. The stakes are still kind of high. It's important things happen to important characters. But it's also goofy stupid fun too, and I
great doctor moments.
Awesome doctor moments.
He gets his mobile emitter.
He does. And I can't remember the actor's name, but the guy who plays
very famous,
the bad guy in that episode,
Jr.
who does great. He's a fantastic actor, and he's just it's just such a
that was an odd get for
stuff.
Star Trek. I mean, I'm not, I would never imagine Ed Begley Jr. would be in Star Trek. It's like if you told me Chris Noth would be in Doctor Who, which he will be in next week. But yeah, he's obviously a great actor, but never would imagine he'd be gotten for Star Trek. But yeah,
and it's so funny. Like his character, his archetype is basically like. At the time, you would put it at like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs,
right?
Which he was already too old for, but like even now it's aged worse. Where he's like supposed to be like a Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk type of guy, and he's still way too old. But he's great in it. He wears dad jeans. Oh, the episode's fantastic.
Now,
I
Daniel,
love the episode.
The technological revolution of the '90s and 2000 was never supposed to happen.
I know. Thank you, that guy. For that.
Future time ship person.
Yeah.
Was it ChronoWorks? Thank you, ChronoWorks. I mean, I have a ChronoWorks mouse right here and a ChronoWorks camera. It's still a viable company.
I think they're a majority stockholder of SpaceX,
Cyberdyne Systems. That's a spin-off company.
All right, so this one is a little bit of a think here. So this is to both of y'all. But if you don't have a choice, you're going to be in that makeup chair for 3 to 5 hours. It's just going to happen, so go with it. What alien would you like to be made up as?
I think I'd go Cardassian.
Okay.
I know it's a lot of makeup, but they look really awesome. And
now, would you be fluffy early Cardassian or later?
Oh, so you mean do I have my helmet on? No, I just standard. I mean, and just not just that, because you get the whole costume, which their costumes just
the
look
metal
amazing.
Armor, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always tempted to pick Romulans first, no matter what it is, but I got to go with Darren. I mean, the Cardassians are probably the coolest looking. Unless you go something crazy, how about like a Cardassian Borg, just to get?
I was thinking Borg.
Yeah, best
and they
of
can do
both
whatever they
worlds.
want with me, but I would think Borg would be.
It's like I chip out and I'm like Trill, just
yeah. No, I'd say. Yeah.
But
they're going that all the way down. They got 3 hours.
The Cardassians just are so cool, and it's such a.
Now, when you say the Cardassians are so cool,
yeah, no, but see, you and I, we sneak off the lot, Daniel, and we just go have a burger at In-N-Out and just freak everyone out.
Yeah,
and we walk in and be like, "Human, give me a double with fries right now."
I think we know what drink Daniel would order.
Oh man, am I missing the joke?
It was the greatest joke of this whole of Ceti Alpha 3. You would order the Cardassian sunrise during the Romulan Cardassian
I
War.
completely forgot. Sorry about that. Too soon. Hashtag too soon.
That was still the best. I need to watch that episode again.
I completely forgot. Yep.
It's like you ordered a Cardassian sunrise during the Cardassian War, Daniel.
I mean, I would. I guess just to put a secondary one out there, Jem'Hadar are cool. I mean, you can't go wrong with Klingon.
Well, I wouldn't do it, but that's.
I mean, I would like to see myself as a Klingon for sure.
Some Klingons look really Klingon, and some look like humans with foreheads.
Like Chang.
Yeah, I was thinking more like Uncle Phil Klingon.
Yeah, I forgot about Uncle Phil Klingon.
You know what I mean? He kind of just looks like Uncle Phil with,
he does look a lot
with a forehead. Versus Galron, who totally becomes a Klingon.
Yeah. Well,
and even not Galron is also a Klingon.
Well, he has the eyes. It's hard to get away from that. Okay, guys. So this one's another thinker, and then I'll go to something easy after this. Okay, so imagine time and money is not an issue. And either you can do it, or you can pay someone else to do it. But what would you add right now to the Star Trek franchise that doesn't currently exist? Whether it's another show, a movie, a video game, whatever, what would it be?
I know. I'm going to pick right now, right away. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pick either a TV movie. I mean, I guess if money's no option, I can pick a movie.
Sure.
But I'm going to pick a 90s crossover of all of Star Trek up to that time.
So basically, like that Q comic, whatever.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
do you
exactly.
have any? So what? Because actors have aged. Nothing, crazy for the '90s. The TNG folks aren't crazy old or anything. Brent's going to need some makeup work. But
you could do it where there's some sort of like time arch, and through the arch it's a little fuzzy, and we do the budget there to make them look young, and then when they step through it, they go
give it to
like
Marvel.
modern
They can
time.
make those people look.
No, but that's the thing. Yeah, so it's like as they're in the back, they look like they do in the '90s, but then when they step through it, they become modern age, and then we just are that for the rest of the time.
Do you know what it just made me think of? Actually, that whole thing that you just brought up, Philip, of the Marvel stuff. What if they de-age a lot of the TNG actors for the Picard show for like flashbacks or something?
That would be cool.
That technology exists. It's very, very. It looks very good.
It needs a name.
Anyways, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter in terms of 90s Trek. Like, if you place it in the late 90s after TNG's over, while Deep Space Nine and Voyager are still in the air, you just place it during those shows, and the TNG actors aren't old enough where you have to make an excuse for them, so you just say they're on the Enterprise E. Then the only excuse you have to make is for the TOS crew, which is easy enough to do via time travel shenanigans. Oh, this is right before Star Trek 6. Haha. Or whatever.
The Enterprise E air. I don't know.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what I would say.
What about sure, 90s TV movie? You do, Darren.
At first, I was going to say do the Star Trek Academy show we pitched a couple episodes ago.
Right.
But I don't know. I still really want to just do our escape room. That was that was just such a great idea, and just do it well, or do some sort of like permanent Star Trek experience. Basically, I want to bring back the Star Trek experience. That's what I want to do.
No,
I'm going to pick another city that's going to love it and not get rid of it, Vegas. We're going to put it there, and we're going to have a giant convention center next to it, so we can have the Star Trek annual convention there. I don't even care about you anymore, Vegas. We're never going back.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would, I would love some time to go to, I'm going to say this wrong, Ticonderoga, New York, where they have the TOS set. But, it's upstate, it's middle of nowhere, upstate New York. So, it's not like, so, yeah, I would like it doesn't have to be a big city, like you said, but a city that has, an recognizable airport. That would be fun. So here's one that's going to be more of a thinker. What advice, this is going to be obviously, like, at the beginning, what advice would you give to Captain Jonathan Archer before he embarked out on his NX-01 voyage?
So kind of, okay, so he's like ready to board the NX-01, and I got to give him a few...
Yeah, you're one of the brass or something, or you're whatever. Yeah. And you're like, and he's like, what
don't
what you got?
Provoke the Borg! No.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like Archer's ever going to encounter the...
Yeah. I don't know. I'd just be like, run far. The farther you run, the fleet will be right behind you, or something.
There
like
is
that.
no fleet.
That's what I'm saying. If you go out, we will build the fleet to follow you, and thus, conquer the stars. I'm the Terran Empire now. So.
Oh, you're right. I didn't say which Captain Archer. It wasn't Mayor one. So Daniel,
victory or death, Archer. You will kill the Andorians and Vulcans.
So, Daniel, what advice at the beginning would you give Captain Archer before he embarked out?
I mean, without technically cheating, because
you can cheat. It's fine.
All right.
Will he understand it, though?
I would give him the opening monologue.
Because remember, the Vulcan Science Academy has said that time travel does not exist.
You mean the monologue or the intro music from the show?
It's been a long road.
No, the monologue. I'd give him the monologue.
Are you talking about getting from there to here,
Zephram Cochrane,
Daniel?
then. He knows the speech, Daniel.
Yeah, that's the advice I'd give him.
Okay, remember Zephram Cochrane.
Yeah, exactly. Remember Zephram Cochrane. Go boldly, where no one's gone before, and...
Trek through the stars, all the lines that we want to hear.
You're going to need those phasers. That's all I'm saying.
They don't have bathrooms in the future? I don't...
With his hand reached up, looking out.
So this is going to be another evocative question. So basically, and you can think about this one, but Darren, when you think Star Trek or when you hear Star Trek, what Star Trek music comes to mind?
I would have to say, I mean, that's one of those things where it kind of depends on mood. Like,
what color is your ring right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about 90s, huh?
No, that would be your shirt, Daniel.
I would think, I don't know, it's a kind of a toss-up between, like, the motion picture, like the suite, where it's kind of like, da, da, da,
we're going really slowly,
da, da, da,
looking at the ship.
Or Inner Light. I'd say it's a toss-up kind of between those two.
Okay, that'll work.
So not really necessarily a theme from any of the shows, but
fine.
Just that.
Yeah. So, Daniel, what's your Star Trek music? I say Star Trek music you hear is what?
It's too broad, but I would say certainly that the themes come to mind. The not so much TOS theme, but TNG theme, Deep Space Nine theme, Voyager theme. That's what enters my mind.
Are you like Data listening to 5 different things of music at the same time?
It's tough. Like Darren says, it depends on maybe mood, maybe context. It's just
Context.
if you say Star Trek music, like right now I'm thinking of First Contact music, but in
like if you're YouTube, I put Star Trek music and press enter. What's coming up?
Or maybe like the Klingon theme. Like that one always kind of jumps out there. Mm-hmm. I had a CD called Star Treks, and it had a bunch of sci-fi. And the first track that was from Star Trek that showed up on it was the Klingon theme from the motion picture, and just that whole like, and you're just there once you hear that.
Assimilate this. So we talked about Kelvin Universe and TOS. I'll just pick one, if there is even one. What Kelvin actor would you replace for a TOS person?
With us?
No. Like, you know the TOS cast. You know the Kelvin cast. Is there someone in the Kelvin cast you think, like, you know what? I think they do that part better than the original. I would switch them out if I could for TOS.
Oh, so you're swapping Kelvin into TOS.
Yes.
Got it.
Daniel, you look like you have an answer.
It's sad. It's a sad answer.
Well, I mean, they're all older. Some of them have died. It's fine.
Well,
it's fine.
that's not why it's actually sad.
Yeah.
I would have picked Anton Yelchin as Chekhov. Honestly, he's fantastic. I mean, he was fantastic.
He is kind of a better Chekhov than Chekhov. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's sort of the backstory that he's this young, Wunder kid. Instead of just,
and no
17, sir.
And obviously obviously Walter Koenig did a great job. Not to say that he didn't, but it's just Anton was, I think, a really talented actor, a really standout kind of person, and we lost him too young, but he would have been, I think, really interesting, and I think we saw that in Beyond, but unfortunately that was after the fact. So
I think it would be. I would love to see all of the Kelvin crew remake Star Trek 4. I think that would be hilarious. I think their chemistry is good enough. I think just something like really similar to that. So they all split off. You have Chekhov and Uhura. You have Sulu and
Sulu.
Sulu. Yeah, you have Scotty and Bones. Everyone's. But maybe even give it a modern switch, and maybe this will just be a whole episode topic later, but like have I'm just now picturing, instead of like Plasticore, you have Scotty and Bones going to, like, I don't know, some 3D print shop or something, and they're like
Chronodyne. No, that's actually a really kind of cool concept for a show, Darren, but what I was thinking was, like, if they picked anything other than Star Trek II to replicate, maybe that's a cool idea to actually
imagine the Kelvin cast.
Imagine the Kelvin cast but don't pick the most iconic, most like built up storyline.
Star Trek V.
There you go. Rewrite Star Trek V
with the Kelvin.
Gosh. Who would play Cybok in Star Trek V in
someone cool?
Kelvin Trek. That would be cool. Okay, sorry. We'll talk about this because this is a cool idea.
All right. Now, Daniel, I don't want to stereotype you. I don't think you're a big Star Trek novel reader. So imagine you're at your local bookery I think that's what they're called. And you're in your Star Trek section, and you're like, what the hell? I'm going to pick up one of these books. What would be a Star Trek novel that you would read the back cover and you'd be like, oh no, I'm going to read this? What would be the story that you think would grab you? You don't have to be specific, but so the general series and characters and what would be going on.
I think in order to pull me in, since not only am I not just a not Star Trek novel reader, I'm not a novel reader in general, you would have to have some, I don't know, novelty, some sort of interesting hook, some sort of something that I would never expect to see. Like, oh, Captain Picard is a woman or a twin, or like, something you don't see coming, where I'd be like, what the hell is going on here? I'd like to know more about what's happening in this situation.
It's a choose your own adventure Next Generation book.
Hey, that could be cool.
Turn to page 54 to see the Enterprise destroy.
You wouldn't need to hire a narrator.
Turn to page 96 if you push the red button.
Now, Darren, I'm going to do a twist on it. What graphic novel of Star Trek would you immediately want to buy?
You mean like a comic book?
Yeah, what would be the story that would immediately, or crew or circumstance that would grab you?
I'd like to see, like, a Riker on the Potemkin. Or no, not the Potemkin. The Pegasus.
The Lollipop?
No, like Riker on the... Yeah, Riker, okay. Like young Ensign Riker.
Babyface?
Ensign Babyface, that's the name of the comic. And it's just, it's before they are anywhere near doing the tests with the cloaking device. But because, before you found out he was an evil, crazy person, like, Pressman was a kind of a cool captain. Like, I liked Pressman. And so I would like to see more of their adventures.
23, 72, 79. I don't know. My only reference I get. I don't know.
I understood that reference.
Well,
so that's what I'd want to see. I'd want to see Ensign Babyface.
Cool.
And it has to be called that, or I won't pick it up.
You have your charge. Whatever comic does it. All right. We'll wrap this up here in a few left here. So when you guys, imagine it's a Star Trek Vegas or Twitter or whatever. When you guys, meet or see or whatever a fellow Trekkie, and you feel the urge to socially interact, what are you most interested in? What their opinion is about whatever? Like, what are you most excited to talk about with them? Like, this person is a Trekkie at work or whatever. What's going to be your first question to them?
I'm just thinking, like, usually when I'm running into Trekkies, it's at, like, when I can tell because they're wearing, like, a costume. And usually I'll be, like, in my Stormtrooper or something, and I'll give them the, Vulcan salute. And usually I'll just talk about their costume. I'll just be like, oh, why'd you choose that character? Or, oh, how'd you make it? That's usually how I get into the conversation.
Such a builder question.
Well, it's. I do know friends who would wear Star Trek type stuff on a regular basis, like stuff from Think Geek or something like that. But
and then, what is a Star Trek opinion you are most excited or most that you most want to share?
So, that I would want to share?
Yeah, you're in Vegas or you're wherever, and people are talking to you, and you're having a Star Trek conversation. What are you immediately going to bring up?
09 is awesome.
There you go. That works.
I don't know. At this point, I'd say I'm really excited for the new Picard series.
There you go. And so then this brings me to a related question. What are you? And you can take both or just one of them. Daniel, what are your hopes / worries about the Star Trek franchise?
Okay, that's interesting. My hopes are that we are entering a new renaissance of Star Trek. That we are repeating what happened in the late 80s, early 90s of Star Trek. They've mentioned, because I'm sure they saw the tremendous dwindling numbers of subscribers after Star Trek Discovery Season 1, CBS has come out and said, we want to have year-round Star Trek so nobody has a reason to cancel their subscription. Okay, you're
and when you have a summer break, you forget so much Star Trek, and you have to catch up. It's not.
So your motivation is a cynical motivation, but that's fine. This is business. I get that. That's fine.
It's an enterprise.
My worry is, I mean, I have specific worries about Discovery. I have specific worries about the Picard show. My worry is that it becomes just, and I know it's a business. I know that intellectually, but my worry is that it becomes just a money generator for CBS. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, it probably was the case too back in the 90s, but you also felt that there were people with passion, with a drive, with an energy, with a vision that saw the future as something to be, to strive for back in the 90s. And it doesn't, we haven't reached that point yet. We may very well, like, Discovery Season 2 could be awesome and fantastic and have this sort of forward-looking vision. I'm worried that the cynical side of things will take hold and we won't get that same sort of awesomeness. But I also hope that we don't see that. And I hope that we will see just some really awesome, cool stories being told in this universe that we love so much. And I look forward to it. I think my outlook of the future is both hope and grim. It could go either way. I don't know. But I'm excited for the ride, and I hope that we get to, in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months' time, we're going to be talking about we are in the midst of a brand new Star Trek Revolution. This is fantastic. Everything is great. This is storytelling at its finest in science fiction form. And,
you'll be talking about why can't Discovery have a crossover with the Picard series?
Yeah, exactly. I would love to actually have that show. That would be great. So, yeah,
you have 2 shows on at the same time. Why? Well, not the same time, but why didn't you do it?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Darren, what about you? Hopes and fears, hopes or fears?
Yeah, similar to Daniel, I think my hope is that, we get a lot more Trek, but I want different tones. I want the Picard show to be a different tone than, Discovery versus like the third show and different formats. Picard show, maybe it's shorter. Maybe one of these shows comes in, it's like more kind of like secondary Starfleet, and it's like only a 22-minute show. It's like a half-hour show or something like that. Like, vary it up, change it up, try different things, see what sticks. It doesn't have to be, an Enterprise going with blah, blah, blah. Like, we've moved past that.
There better be a saucer, tuna cells.
Oh, you and your tuna
and
cells,
no security cameras, damn it.
Yeah. But I think that would be fun, or just, and I mean, I'm liking these little, like the short treks. Like that's something different, something new, that's adding to Star Trek, but it's also, just something different. And I guess, and then fear is just that it gets too dark. That's my biggest fear, is that it. For some, people are like, oh, Star Trek can't be cool unless we're killing people every episode, like, or something like that. It's like,
the stakes have never been higher.
I want Star Trek at its best, I feel, always had a sense of wonder baked in. There could be high stakes and problems are abounding, but still, Kirk and the crew, Picard, Data, everybody, they always had a sense of, wow, we're out there, and that was the big difference for me, for Star Trek versus Star Wars. Star Wars is fantasy, and it's a galaxy far, far away. Star Trek was our possible future of us getting out there, of our descendants going and doing these great things, and that made it different, and it made it, interesting and inspire, and that I think is what inspired so many people who watch Star Trek to go into the science fields, to pursue engineering, or to pursue acting or anything like that. And I think if Star Trek can contain or can continue that charm and that aspect of it, I mean, yeah, I want long form stories. I want the different ways that stories are told nowadays, or a standalone movie or different things like that, that's okay. And what I'm glad for is that apparently Discovery's doing well enough. I mean, that it sold well enough before it even aired, that'll give CBS the financial footing to take these risks and to try these different things and not be so, oh, well, this is going to flush it down the toilet because this didn't work. I don't want that again.
Risk is why we're here.
Only children start on the first shop, CBS.
Well, I mean, and really quick, just to reiterate what Darren's saying, like, it's no secret that we all love Captain Picard, but there are many elements of that sort of exploration and diplomatic and peaceful, loving sort of attitude in Star Trek Through the Leads, from Kirk all the way down. And you could say it was a misstep with Discovery with Lorca, but he's whatever.
Lorca's still a really interesting character.
He is, but what I'm saying is, I know
what you're saying, Daniel.
I was going to say,
I'm not saying it was a role model.
I have a man crush on Lorca, but he's not a hopeful utopian.
Well, no, and
model.
that's why I think that, and I hope this is how they're positioning it. Saru was always the guy behind, the person behind the curtain. The fear stuff, which is whatever, blah blah blah. Oh, but.
All captains have weaknesses.
Exactly. And he feels more like that hopeful captain. He gave a couple of speeches in Discovery, which were, to be fair, fantastic speeches.
Yeah.
Like, really inspirational, great speeches. He feels to me, he always has, and I hope they expound on this in season 2. We don't know if they will, but he definitely feels the most Star Trek command person on that ship by far.
Like, if he was not in the command track, I would expect him to be in the command track by the second season. Like,
yeah. And I kind of like the idea, just for fun, of them, like, he's literally the perpetual bridesmaid where he never...
Right. He's always this close to the chair.
I really love that idea. I think that's fun to do. But...
He's like, I made it. Oh, here comes Captain Pike, listed on the 5 most decorated captains.
He's wanted to be the defensive against the Dark Arts
for
year.
Oh, man.
So, anyways, but he is a great Star Trek character, and there are plenty of missteps. There's plenty of maybe things aren't working perfectly, but I definitely see plenty of potential in the future for Star Trek, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Sure. And I think
the books have been good. I've been enjoying all of those. The Discovery books have been really good. And I've recently gotten into a lot of the more recent, Next Gen and Titan and other books that have been coming out. And, I love that. Just give us more Trek. That's all we want is just more Trek. It's not that hard.
We got another 100 episodes to do, guys, so give us more Trek. Well, my wine glass is empty, and I do have more questions, but I think we'll cut it there. And so this has been 100 episodes of Ceti Alpha 3. As you heard, we have lots more to talk about. And so, Daniel, if people want to talk to you more about Star Trek, where can they reach you on the interwebs?
People can find me on Twitter or all over the place under 1UpDan. That's the number 1, not the word, as in, Saru could be contender for best first officer ever. I said it!
Ooh.
What?
Whoa, there's a gauntlet thrown down. All right, Darren, if people want to talk to you about 100 more topics for Ceti Alpha 3, where can they reach you?
They could send topic suggestions to 1UpDan at... they can find me on
preferably
Twitter,
5 minutes before we record.
Yes. They can find me on Twitter, Twitch, or Instagram under username Dr. Sci-Fi, DRSCIFI.
And if folks want to talk to me about why I got out of answering all the questions, they can...
Yeah, how did you get out of answering all the questions?
It's always, you always want to be the one in charge. Tweet me at NC Public Servant or tweet us at the network. Until then, folks, still stranded here on Ceti Alpha 3.